Alright, this is Instructor Brian. Someone said you complain about all your weapons breaking so much because you do a little product review. I said, sure, why not? You know, I don't always get the students able to make the videos with me, and we're in a lull right now for that happening. But yeah, like I say, I break everything I get, and it's usually just a matter of time and how long things last. So I took my most recent things that I've broken lately, and I'm going to quickly product review them for you. So I have another video where I review these colored boards. They go from yellow, blue, red, black, anywhere I think from 6mm, 8mm, 10mm, 12mm, full adult size wood pine board normally you break. And these are great. You know, I'll be honestly, I've probably had this now for at least 2-3 years, but they can only break so many times before, you know, this happens. And right there, you know, in the weakest spot where the two boards connect, you know, the little piece finally broke, and it happens. Now, what I notice is the more you use them, obviously, the easier they get to re-break. And now my blackboards are actually easier to break, in my opinion, than these were for a while, because, you know, there were more adults taking the classes, and they were just, you know, hitting them more often. So yeah, they do get easier for time, but you know, you can always buy more, and they come in a set, and it's not too expensive. So I'm still a fan, and I like the color coordination, because then, you know, you can line it up with the belt level and say, look, you know, you should at least be doing it at this level, even if they're kids, you know, and then go. But I've got kids that can do the full black belt boards even when they're new, and you know, you just have to build up that confidence. It's not really, it can be done. Okay, but enough on that. Next product I have is the shinais, or the, what do they call, the jukdo, bamboo swords that we use in gumdo and kendo. And these break the most for me, but that's because, you know, when we spar and when we hit, you know, the bag and whatnot, we hit pretty hard. And the only striking area that you're allowed to hit is between here and here. So this part right here where you see the red tape, yeah, that's always the first to go, because obviously I'm not hitting the rest of this. And sometimes the top little part comes off too here at the top, but you see the break is always at that stress point right there. And over time, and you're doing enough hits, that's what happens. It breaks down, frays at that area. And these are the expensive ones from evovu.com. You know, I only buy the expensive ones now, because if you get the one, you know, the cheap made ones from Amazon, they literally will shatter in 1,000 pieces, like the first 2 or 3 classes that you take. And it's just very frustrating, not worth it. And that happened a couple times. I was like, okay, I'm no longer ever buying one for like $30. I have to pay like $70, $80, whatever. They at least last, you know, half a year maybe, depends. You just gotta pull some of those punches, you know, and not hit so hard. Really go for the points, and not real life if you want to keep it longer, I suppose. Anyways, next product is the bamboo staff. Now, in the public studios where I used to teach, these bamboo staffs this was not oak. This was, you know, painted over whatever wood this is, probably pine or something or whatever. But this is how they were. They're very lightweight. It's nice for spinning and making it look pretty or whatever. But and this one just happens to be white, but it's the same one. I just grabbed a different color. But that won't last at all. You cannot train with that crap on a real bag. It will just shatter. Or, you know, even fighting with another person or whatever. I give it 3 months tops, maybe less than that, depending on how many days you train. I only train with my weapons maybe once a week, and I, you know, put in like, you know, an hour on them or whatever. But I'm very light on them, and they still, you know, break. So that's BS. Now, you get the full oak bow though for like $100 or something. That's a whole new game. This lasts, and I like this, and so far so good. But I'm a little worried, because one time I tried to order a replacement for this, and I got this because I didn't read the product specs, which is the exact same thing as this, the child bow staff in oak, and same material, and it lasts for a while. But look here, it eventually snapped in half. Now I'm putting a lot more pressure on this when I did my whipping motion on the bag. That's probably why. And as you can see, it broke at that top part right about here where I'm hitting with it the most. And I'm not doing that. Well, I am doing it with this as well, but I guess not as much force is in that hip rotation possibly that I'm getting out of it. So I've yet to break this one. So I'm happy about that so far, but the smaller one, unfortunately, it broke shortly after my video. And the latest thing to break was my nunchuck, which I actually had for a couple of years. A normal speed rattan nunchuck. These are great. I mean, they're wood, they got a little heft to them. It's better than the jingle jangle ones or the foam ones. I mean, you can't really hit something with that and feel what it's really like to hit something. So you gotta go with the, the wood ones. And the speed rattan ones here, I mean, they're heavy, but they're not that heavy, right? So I guess it was only a matter of time. And then it broke right there, right at the, the weakest point where the handle hits in there, and probably just one too many hits on old Bob here. And but that lasted a couple of years. I'm still happy with this purchase. I like the feel of it. I can't find the metal ones anymore. I wish, like this is an old school metal one, and the chain eventually broke on it. Actually, and I replaced it with a little chain gear connector. But I didn't really. It still had that jingle jangly sound. But this was like a heavier metal. But they don't. They're not as good as the wood. And you can get hard. I gotta go past the speed rattan ones. I gotta get to the heavier oak ones, and hopefully they'll last longer. That'll be my next purchase because I don't see the steel ones anymore. They used to sell those, and now they all disappeared on Amazon, that's for sure, except for the foam ones. Bob here, product as well. I've had for many years, and I love Bob. I put my old chest protector on there because I wanted him to last as long as possible. And as you can see, I've cut the hell out of this chest protector out over the years, probably mostly with the wood sword. But it's been punches and everything else too. The first thing that will break down on Bob is his face. And the reason it's all taped up here is because his face is pretty much gone. It's been torn off from all those self-defense classes where we teach height, pulling down fingernails, scratch out the eyes. That's the only place you can't protect yourself. A 300-pound man, doesn't matter. You go in the eyeballs, scratch down. He can't see, he can't fight, so that's where you go for emergency. And so many girls and guys over the years scratching on his face, it came, it's off. So I just taped him up, and he's still good. You can still use him for striking and everything. You just gotta tape him. So Bob has lasted through the years. Bob's back did kind of go out at one point. He got this big old bump in it because he's been hit too many times or come off the thing. He's a little sliding on the traction a little bit. So when you hit him, sometimes he kind of just spins a little bit, and it's not perfect like it used to be. And then I had to take old. I don't know what these were, like knobs on some old whatever I had, and put them on this because these actually were the first things to go. The stuffing started coming out of the back, and the backs just fell off. And so I took these old knobs that I had on whatever and measured them and said, oh, look, that'll fit, and super glue. And there you go. And now the stuffing isn't coming out there. This is just coming out of the pad here and his face whenever we get through. And then I tape it up again, but put some more duct tape on Bob, and he's good to go. So I like Bob. Bob's a great purchase. Most people fill it very easily with water. The water will get moldy and stinky, and every time you knock this thing over, this thing isn't airtight, it's not 100%, it will leak, it's a pain in the ass. We used to always have to clean it up in the old studio or whatever, and I hated it, it was disgusting. And then you're walking on it too, because you're barefoot, right, in the studio. So when I filled up my Bob, I chose, no, I'm gonna take the long, hard process, but more rewarding in the long run, and use pea gravel. And I filled Bob up with 50-pound bags of pea gravel. I don't remember how many. I'm pretty sure he's about 250 maybe pounds in here, at least 200. So like 4 or 5 bags or 6 bags or whatever. And that's a pain in the ass. So I mean, you gotta hold a funnel there, funnel it in. But it's so rewarding because once it's on, that pea gravel doesn't come out, and you don't get that water stains on the floor if he tips over and all that. So I knew from experience working in the public studios, that was the way to go, and I'm glad I took that extra time and did that. And I recommend to do that as well. I got tons of other stuff in here I probably over the years used, broken, or I could give a review on, but this is probably a long enough video as is, so I'm going to cut it there. You're probably bored of listening to me talk anyway, and I will see you all for the next video. Hopefully I'm still hoping I can do another Aikido video. I got to motivate one of my students to do another one, and then get back into those more regularly so we can have a full course and everything online for people to look at, for my students basically. Because right now they can't get past grade level, at least not online. But anyway, okay, thanks so much, and take care.